Thank you for being a part of National Donate Life Month 2020. It's a time for all of us to honor organ donors and their families, as well as really educate everyone around us, every American that we can find, about the importance of giving the gift of life. Well, this year, COVID-19 pandemic is really making National Donate Life Month a lot more challenging. There's no doubt about it. Moving everything to what we're doing to a virtual communication. But the pandemic is also giving us a true opportunity for those of us to talk more openly and to speak from the heart and to be more reflective during National Donate Life Month. And we have a very special guest to talk from the heart. She is transplant recipient Roxanne Watson. We are so glad that she is joining us, and she has a special story, her own story to share with us, as well as her donor's story. And Roxanne, I know that you're sharing this from your home state of New York, which is quite the epicenter of the pandemic.
Yes, absolutely. I have, unfortunately, there are 4 people in my family that are affected by COVID. 3 of them in the hospital and 1 is at home. So it's tough. It's tough, you know, but hopefully everybody will make it and they're all doing well. Yeah. So I am excited about this month though, for sure. I did have a whole bunch of stuff planned, but it's all coming indoors, you know. So we're going to do something every day on my Facebook page and my Twitter page. And we're going to send messages throughout the country. We have about 100,000 followers, thank God. So they're looking for something every day, and we're going to make sure that we give them something every day. In 2006, I suffered what they call a silent heart attack. I had a heart attack in May. I did not even know that I had a heart attack. In June, I went to the hospital and I was told in the ER that I had a heart attack 6 weeks. So I walked around for 6 weeks. No idea what was going on. I should have known. I have the hereditary. All the women in my family do have heart disease. But at that time, I was 56. I was healthy, and I had never had any issues, had never actually been in the hospital. So it was a big surprise to me. I went into immediate cardiac care locally here in the county that I live in. I live in Rockland County in New York. And I was in cardiac care for 2 years. At the end of the 2 years, my doctor came to me and he said, "There's nothing else we can do for you here in Rockland County. We're going to have to send you to New York City for advanced cardiac care." They sent me to Montefiore Medical Center to the transplant. Well, I didn't know at that time it was the transplant department, but they told me it was advanced cardiac care. So I was placed in the hospital for 9 days. I saw 16 different disciplines. Any doctor that you can think of, I saw. And at the end of the 9 days, Dr. Shin came to me and she says, "I have good news and I have bad news." I said, "Well, give me the bad news first." She said, "Well, the bad news is your heart is failing. But the good news is we're going to put you on a transplant list." I was not sure that that was the good news at all. I had no idea. I was like, I don't know about that. And I didn't even really think too much of it. I went home and I told my family, and I could see the horror in their faces. And that's when I realized how really scary and, you know, how important it was. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, I'll get a transplant, I'll get a transplant. But everybody in my family was like, when I told them, they were just horrified. So that's the way I started. I was listed in June of 2008. And Dr. Shin said, "Well, you have B positive blood. Shouldn't be a long wait." And that was famous last words. In December of 2009, I was still on the list. And I began rapidly losing weight, like 5 pounds a week. It was going, and it was just, you know, just dropping off, and there was nothing I could do about it. Dr. Shin said, "We're going to keep an eye on you and see how you do." By the time I was 155 pounds is usually what I carry. And by the time April came, I was 95 pounds. And she said, you can't stay home anymore. You have to come in, because if you stay home, you're going to die. So I went in April. I went in actually April 17th of 2010. I was placed in CCU, and there I began the wait. I was offered a heart probably about 3 weeks after I was there. It was a match. And when the team went to retrieve, unfortunately, the heart was not accepted by my team. So as you can imagine, the whole family gets excited and everybody's excited and they come to the hospital and everybody's wishing you well, and then it doesn't happen. Like a big letdown. Then about 3 more weeks later, I was offered another heart. But I was told that there was someone ahead of me on the list. And if they, if their team took the heart, that I wouldn't get it. And they did take the heart. So I didn't get that one. So now it's 6 weeks that I'm in the hospital. And then again, another 3 weeks came. And I was offered a high-risk heart, which at the time I didn't really understand what it was. But they came to me and they said, we have a match, but it's a high-risk heart. And so I said, well, what exactly is that? They said, well, the gentleman that you match, that matches you, is a prisoner. And he might have been exposed to HIV. So now this is 2010, so it's not like it is today. But he said, you're going to have to make that decision if you want to take the chance and take it. And at that time, I was really so sick, and I just felt like I was going to be sick forever. So I decided not to take it. And then another 4 weeks, so now I'm in the hospital. It's like June and I'm still waiting. And then the second week of July, I was approached again. And my transplant coordinator came to me and she says, we have a match, we think. So now, as you can imagine, I've been through this already 3 times. So I'm not even believing her. I said, when you know that heart is for me, it's not for somebody else, it's a match, the tissues, everything is perfect, let me know. And then I don't want my family going nuts again. And I said, better yet, tell my son, let him know. And then I'll believe it. So she told me she probably had a match, and I was in the room and I turned around and in walked my son. So I knew it was go time then. They said, the gentleman is, he's going to be donating all of his organs. So the heart will go last. So we can't tell you exactly when it's going to happen, but, we're going to procure the other organs and then you'll be last. So my surgeon came and he says, we're going to take you down to the operating room because the gentleman that donated his heart was local. And, you won't have to wait that long again. So I'm down in the operating room and I'm waiting and it's just not happening. I think I went down at 5 o'clock and it's 7 and I'm still waiting. And they said, okay, it's time. He's, given all of everything that he could give, and you're going to be next. So my surgeon liked Madonna. I remember that. He liked Madonna. So he was playing Madonna in the operating room. And I said, well, if I die, at least I will hear like a prayer. It's the last thing I'm going to hear. So we were laughing and joking. There was so many people in the operating room. It was really, they did a good job. It was a good experience. And then obviously I received his heart. And that was Friday night into Saturday morning. And then I woke up on Monday. I was sleeping, obviously. I was out and I heard a voice in the distance. And I didn't know if I was dreaming or what, but I heard Mary. It said, hi, Roxanne, this is Mary, your nurse. You have a new heart, wake up. And that's the first thing I remember. And I woke up and I was fine. I did well, I was sat up in the chair and my surgeon came in when I was sitting in the chair and he was amazed. He just couldn't believe it. He's like, oh my God, do you realize that you haven't sat in a chair in forever? So it was a good experience. So I have Michael with me. Michael Boville is who I received. He is a United States Coast Guard serviceman. He was an E3 fireman, helicopter mechanic, just amazing guy, amazing guy. So here he is. Here he is. That's Michael. That's Michael.
That's a fabulous picture.
Yes, I carried it. I got this picture on Oprah, actually. Actually, this is the picture they gave me. It's in the frame that I was given. It's all beat up. It's in the original frame that I got it in, but this was my gift. He saved 5 of us, not just me. He saved a 5-year-old little girl, Hispanic girl in Staten Island, got one of his kidneys. An 18-year-old African-American boy in the Bronx got his other kidney. A 42-year-old Jewish man in Manhattan got his double lungs who had cystic fibrosis. And a 62-year-old Chinese man in Manhattan, in Chinatown, got his liver. So we like to say that he saved every single one of us was totally different. We were all different races. We were all different religions. And his mom always said, doesn't matter what's on the outside, we all matched inside. And every single one of us was fine. We were all living and doing well. So it was a great story. About 11 months after I received his heart, now I don't know who he is at this point. One of Oprah Winfrey's producers got in touch with me, and she says, we want you to tell your story because we were encouraging African American and Hispanic, minorities, trying to encourage more minorities to sign up. That was what the show was supposed to be about. So I was excited, obviously, to go on Oprah, and I'm gonna, go on and tell my story, and I'm just being all cute and everything. And when I got there, Dr. Oz was there, Dr. Phil, Susie Orman, and Gail King. They were all there. It was Ask Oprah's All-Stars was the name of the show. Dr. Oz said, we have a surprise for you. And I'm thinking, so I get a car? And he's like, well, we got something really cool. And they gave me this picture. Wow. And I knew it was my donor. Because I had been told when I received the heart that it was a 23-year-old male. So I knew it. As soon as I saw the picture, in my heart, I knew it was my donor. And of course, we cried like a baby. Everybody cried. Everybody in the studio cried. Everybody in the studio had been told what was going to happen. My son and I were the only ones who didn't know what was going to happen. And then we got that. We cried. We went to commercial. Then we came back from commercial. And then they said, and we have another surprise for you. And the studio door opened up, and in walked his entire family. His mom, his dad, his grandmother, his aunt. He was the only boy and the oldest. He had 3 sisters. His 3 sisters were there. It was amazing. It was probably one of the most beautiful days of my life. It really was. And I had vowed before that, when I was in the hospital, I vowed that I would do this work to make sure that people knew about the beauty of organ donation. And having gone through that for 2 years, it was a long time coming that I knew I knew what my purpose was. That's the best way to put it. So when I met that family, I told his mom, I said, well, I know what I have to do. And she's like, and we're going to help you do it. So we bonded immediately. And we've been sharing his story ever since. I have been so blessed to meet so many great people and work with so many great people. And I have been able to sign up. I signed up over 11,000 people, almost 12,000 people now. So I'm very proud of that. And we want to make sure that, we do everything we can do to honor him. That's basically what it is. That's the way I pay it forward every day.
Yes. It's all about honoring him.
Absolutely. And his family and the gift that was given. Because, they didn't have to do that for any of us. Because they didn't know at the time that he was a donor. They did eventually find out when they went through his personal items. But they knew. His mom said he saved people all of his life as a fireman and an EMT. He was a fireman when he was 15 years old. So she said it was natural that he saved people in his passing. He just had an accident and he saved 5 of us.
Mm-hmm. All right, Roxanne. So tell everybody in 10 seconds, what's the message that you want everyone to walk away with during National Donate Life Month.
Yes, it's important. This is our month. We call it our month. This is our month, and we want to make sure that everybody signs up to be an organ donation. Have the conversation with your family so your family knows, and give the gift of life. Simple as that.
You're alive today because of it, and we are so appreciative of your donor and so appreciative of your time. Thank you, Roxanne Watson, heart recipient.
Welcome.
We appreciate your time. And we want to thank everybody who is watching and learning and advocating this month during National Donate Life Month on behalf of organ donation and transplantation. Together, we are saving lives during National Donate Life Month. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's what we want everybody to do. Thank you for having me.